What's up, guys? I'm back with another movie review. Today I'm here to talk about another one from Warner Archive. This is another one from the Forbidden Hollywood Collection, Volume 1. And this one's called Babyface. It stars Barbara Stanwyck as a young woman who's in a terrible situation. She works for her father at his speakeasy. Not the best kind of people come into this particular speakeasy. And we find out that ever since she's been 14 years old, she's not only worked as a waitress in the speakeasy, but that her father has basically pimped her out to various, customers that come into the bar. This is obviously taking a huge toll on her emotionally and in pretty much every other way. But she feels like she can't really do anything about it because she doesn't have the means to even make a small change in her life. She says at one point, like, what am I going to do, go to Paris? I've got $4. Like, she doesn't have any opportunities to get away is how she feels. She has a friend who recognizes that she's very intelligent and that she's a strong woman, that she's just going, she's just in a really bad situation that's not allowing her to, take full advantage of her, ability and her intellect. And he introduces her to Nietzsche and kind of says, like, look, these men have been using you your whole life and you're not getting anything out of it. So why don't you take the power back and use them, and use your sexuality as a weapon to get you what you want out of life. And so that resonates with her and makes a lot of sense because she was basically at the point where she was going to have to become a stripper anyway, and if she's going to be in that kind of a position, she's like, why don't I just be the one that's deciding what happens, and I'm the one, that's using people, not the other way around. So she goes to New York, gets a fresh start. How she gets there, since she didn't have any money, is pretty shady. They hitch a ride on a hay wagon, and because she doesn't have the money to pay the guy that's driving the hay wagon, she pays the bill in another way, which at the time for the early 30s had to be pretty crazy, but I'll get to that later. So anyway, she gets to New York, she starts to use her sexuality to get what she wants, and that's the movie. And then we just find out what happens to her as she, goes through these things. Does she get what she wants? Does it change, the way that she feels? Or, does it put her in a better place with her being in more of a position of power? So this is a precode movie, and you can definitely tell that it's a precode movie. It's one that definitely had a big impact on them wanting to get a code in place. And, even in that situation, there were several minutes that were cut out by the censors. On this release from Warner Archive, you can choose between the restored pre-release version or the version as it was first released. So you can actually see the uncensored version. Barbara Stanwyck is fantastic in this. This is one of the most liberated, sexually liberated characters you're going to ever see it in a movie. She has no problem using her sexuality to get whatever she wants in whatever situations. And you can tell, like, she's just burnt out. Like, she's tired of being pushed around. She's tired of being taken advantage of. And she's going to take that power. And, man, she takes that power and she just, like, burns these men. And while a lot of the focus is probably going to be, for most people, on the fact that she's using her sexuality in this way, for me it paints a really bad picture of the dudes in the movie because they're willing to give everything up, their families, their money, their businesses, their social status, to hook up with her. Like, it's... I think it says more about them than it does about her. So I just thought it was a really interesting dynamic. And I mean, they really fall for it, and she just completely milks the situation. Sorry, bad choice of words, but it's amazing, and her performance is absolutely fantastic here. So much charisma. She just embraces the role and runs with it. It's an amazing, amazing performance. This, to me, is a perfect example of a pre-code movie because it is so blunt and open about sexuality and some other topics in there. There was a situation involving a suicide that was heavily changed for what would eventually be released, but in this original version you can see it as it was intended to be seen. No nudity and no real violence, but it's just the tone and, like, the attitude makes it so much more shocking than if they actually just showed a breast. Like, her behavior here, her behavior is so much more intense than just seeing a little bit of nudity. So I really like this movie. I feel like it tells a great story. It's a super interesting story, and I just think Barbara Stanwyck's performance is so good in this. And as I said, it comes with two different versions of the movie. The transfer is really nice. It's got some scenes that look kind of rough, but I think overall the movie looks really good. The pre-release version was restored by the Library of Congress, and it looks really good. I didn't watch all of the original, like the version that got released that had been censored. I just watched it in places, and it looks like it's taken from the same treatment. So I think both of them look really good. There's no extras, but it does come with with 2 other movies, Red-Headed Woman and Waterloo Bridge. Both of those are reviewed on this channel if you want to see that. They're also, all 3 of them are reviewed on my website, markfusion.com, as well as over 1,000 other movie reviews. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, all that kind of fun stuff. Patreon, Letterboxd, all that at Mark Fusion. But the best thing you can do to help me out is just to hit that sub button. Free, easy, direct way to support me and help me to continue to make content. I'm trying to hurry because we're running over. But yeah, and also watching the old videos is a massive help to me. So if you're interested in something like Babyface, go and check out some of the other classic movie reviews that I've done, including several other pre-code movies. Thank you so much for watching this. I greatly appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon.